Hello again, welcome to Small Caps. I'm Peter Capsanis. Well, as the journey towards discovering a cancer cure continues, one ASX-listed biotech company is making significant inroads in the quest to improve patients' lives and to establish value and trust. Imugene, that's ASX code IMU, has a range of platforms aimed at promoting the body's immune system against cancerous tumours. To tell us more, I'm joined by company CEO and Managing Director, Leslie Chong. Leslie, good to have your company on Small Caps today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Look, I'm quite intrigued by the tale of this company. So, first of all, take us through the Imugene story, Leslie. What's your mission, your purpose? Ultimately, what is your why?
So our why is quite simple and lofty. It Patients and cancer patients are our North Star, and we have a myriad of items in our pipeline that actually addresses some significant needs in cancer patients, such as gastric, bile duct cancers, non-small cell lung cancer, breast cancer, ovarian cancers, now hematological diseases, blood cancers as well. So I am really proud that across all our products, we have at least several different responses, but also we have a complete response in most of our therapies, which is just unheard of in a phase 1 and phase 2 setting. So what I'm trying to say is across all our products, we have patients currently still on our drug that's been living for 3 years. Some have been living for more than a year. And most of the time, they're given a life sentence of roughly anywhere between 4 months to maybe a year. But we've got patients with complete remission of their cancer. So I'm quite proud of the products that we have. And we work via your immunosystem. So we enact your immune system to come and attack your cancer cells.
Yeah, we'll get into one, the range of products or platforms as I refer to them in my intro. Take us through them one by one, Leslie. The first and indeed intriguing is the CAR T technology. This is where the therapy uses healthy donors' T cells, right? And I've seen a very interesting video on your website which uses a whole samurai sword fight as an analogy, which is quite good actually. But take us through the CAR T technology.
Absolutely. So currently, the CAR Ts, the chimeric antigen therapeutics, are all approved in blood cancers that are autologous CAR T. So that is the patient's own T cells that are re-engineered, and then the T cells are given back to the patients. Now, there's variability there because the patients have to wait anywhere between 19 to 42 days to get their therapies, to re-engineer their therapies, their own T cells. However, we think the future is really off the shelf, and not autologous, but allogeneic. So allogeneic CAR Ts are where they take super donors, so donors that provide their T cells. We re-engineer them, soup them up, and make them supersize. And so you're not relying on your tired T cells to do the work, because a lot of these patients, when they qualify for an autologous CAR T therapeutics, they've already blown through several lines of chemo. They may have received stem cell research, et cetera, stem cell replacement. However, their T cells are quite tired at this point. A lot of them actually need more chemo just to stay alive before they get their therapy. Allogeneic CAR T provides a means of on-demand, off-the-shelf therapy when the patient needs them. So we have an allogeneic CAR T named Azer-cel that we just made an acquisition back in September of 2023. We already have patients on, and we're in a setting where it's confirmatory. So once we have these patients confirmed, then we can move into a registration or a pivotal study, which is basically the phase before you can actually market the product. So That's azer-cel, our allogeneic CAR T. And then we have our oncolytic virus. So oncolytic virus that only attacks and replicates in solid tumors, so malignant cells. And we've already seen actions from our current phase 1 study. So we've got a myriad of patients that have already come on and have stability of the disease. Some have had 6 lines of therapy prior to even coming on our study. So the fact that their tumors are cold, they haven't responded to any therapy, and yet they come on to our oncolytic viral therapy and respond in such a way because our oncolytic virus is actually attacking their solid tumors
So
and then leaving the healthy cells.
let me just pause, and then I know we won't get bogged down too much into the forensic detail of how it all works, but effectively, up until now, most commonly is what you're saying, chemotherapy or radiation has been the common the go-to, if you will, form of therapy. Now, what you're saying with your CAR T therapy, you're actually getting healthy T cells from donors, and I think you mentioned the word souping them up and putting them into the patient's bloodstream. Is that effectively right?
Yes, for blood cancers.
For blood cancers. Okay.
Yeah.
And the other one you mentioned, the oncolytic, sorry, I've definitely
Oncolytic.
oncolytic, yeah. So how does that vary towards compared to the T cell therapy?
So with azer-cel, which is the allogeneic CAR T, that's engineering your T cells or someone else's T cells so that it can continuously attack your tumors, right? So you've got in blood cancer specifically, so it goes after a certain target called CD19. So that's azer-cel. It sort of reprograms your entire body to and soups up your T cells to go after a blood cancer type. With oncolytic viral therapy, it is an oncolytic virus that infects your tumor cells and then explodes, and then the virus goes on to other solid tumors. So it multiplies, goes on to other solid tumors. And what it does is it attracts your immune system to say there's something awry here. So then your immune system also comes into the fight. So it's not re-engineering your immune system, it is actually wakening your immune system. So CAR Ts are a whole reprogramming, and oncolytic virus is more of the teaching.
So you mentioned trials. What kind or how many trials are there in each of those therapies at the moment? Are they in Australia? Are they in the US? Are they multiple countries? Where and how many?
So azer-cel has already had 84 patients worth of data in a phase 1. And so we're moving forward in a confirmation study in a phase 1B before we move into a pivotal study. So that's the registration of study before you market a product. So that study is currently done in the US, but we're also evaluating Australian sites for blood cancers. So it's a late line of lymphoma that we're looking at for azer-cel.
Right.
For our oncolytic viruses, we also have sites in Australia as well as the US. We have 38 patients that we've already dosed to date, and we're dose escalating. So that's a phase 1. And we're looking at a multitude of solid tumors. We're not looking at blood cancers. We're only looking at solid tumor types there.
What's been the, can you shed some light in terms of how the trials are going so far?
It is going fantastic. I can't express to you how gleeful our team and myself are whenever we hear about a patient that is starting to get response. There's a patient with bile duct cancer that's been living for more than 400 days now. It's been just a revelation to see that our oncolytic viruses is actually attracting your immune system and then keeping this patient's or these patients' cancer away. So we've got a lot of patients who've gone on, as I said, 6 lines of prior therapy, chemo, radiation, sometimes checkpoint inhibitors. So those are the immunotherapies that are approved out there. Then they come on to our experimental oncolytic viruses. It's stabilizing their disease or it's making their tumors shrink, and to the point where they're shrinking where they're non-existent. So bile duct, melanoma, we have testicular cancer, breast cancer, non-small cell lung cancer. So these multitude of tumor types are starting to see effect from our oncolytic viruses.
It's a cliche to say it's world first, but can I put it to you that is it fair to say you're leading the pack in this field?
We are, especially with another product that we call onCARlytics. This is the oncolytic virus that has a protein in it that can be combined with a CAR T. So there's nothing like onCARlytics out there. And we're currently in clinical trials and getting patients on. But in terms of azer-cel, the fact that we actually work in autologous CAR T therapy, so these are therapies, again, taking their own patient's T cells and then re-engineering them, putting them back. Those patients, unfortunately, relapse or fell off their lines of therapy. And then after that, they really don't have anything else. So if our azer-cel can affect in that population, we would have a world's first in that dire needed, patient population where they've gone on autologous CAR T. They have a late line of lymphoma called DLBCL that they'll go on. So that would be a world's first to have a marketed product in that space.
Right. Okay. So definitely keeping busy. So are you rolling out any other products? You've referred to, I think, three, and I think you've got four on your book, so to speak. What cancers are they targeting?
So our B-cell immunotherapy, Hervax, is currently in gastric, a late line of gastric setting. So we were proven successful. We've got patients still going on to our Hervax after 3-4 years. And then we also have another clinical trial that's addressing late line of gastric cancer patient population. We're also looking at PD-1 Vax that was in non-small cell lung. We still have a patient going on 2-3 years with complete remission on that study. And then we're moving on to what's called an MSI-high colorectal study because we've seen anti-PD-1s work wonders in that space, and we think that we could affect it earlier. So we have a phase 2 with PD-1 Vax in colorectal setting, and it's even before they have surgery. So they get our therapy, it really arrests their tumors, they get it resected, and then they have that therapy again. So it's this beautiful early line phase 2 with PD-1.
You'd say that you've got a pretty good team working on these things, and you must be quite proud. You'd be fair to say.
Well, I have one of the most experienced team on, working with me at Imugene. All together, our clinical team have over 150 years of experience, and all of us have had a direct hand in getting cancer drugs approved, anywhere between 13 to 15 drugs that we've had a direct hand in getting cancer drugs marketed.
Well, you'd say that these trials that you've working on, will they lay the foundation for FDA approval? And if so, what does it mean for the future of the company and for the future of, I guess, cancer fighting?
So we have a few products that we think it's going to be meaningful in this space. There are many cancer drugs out there, and especially the ones that have failed off of recent, autologous CAR Ts to folks that have had no line of therapy after they failed off of their 6 lines of therapy. And then even if the approved immunotherapies are not working for them, they can come on the oncolytic virus. So I see a real path for future approvals, but I see an even a just a delightful path where we could partner with big pharma so that we can get this out there sooner, faster for patients.
What's the rate of cancer on a global scale at? Is it growing rapidly? Is it stagnating? Is it decreasing? Judging by the fact that you're putting quite a bit of effort into these clinical trials and these therapies, I probably can answer my own question. But I guess cancer is a dreaded word, obviously, and there's all different types of cancers. But I guess collectively, are we seeing obviously more awareness? There's a growing fight against various cancers, but overall, is the rate of cancer increasing, or is it sort of level playing field, so to speak? What are you seeing?
Well, I think, diagnosis is increasing. To your point, there's much more awareness. Early detection adds to the number of early diagnoses. But then with early diagnosis, you have a wealth of cancer drugs out there that could potentially prolong your life.
Mm.
So I think the cancer rate has only gone up because we just know better. We go to the doctors earlier to say, hey, what's going on with me? So that's that. But I think prognosis have greatly improved. So whereas these patients previously were given only anywhere between 2 months to, let's say, a few years, we've got these new drugs out there that is leading to a cure. And so this is where Imugene is quite delighted in that we're able to provide an early complete response, and even a phase 1 study, even at a mid dose or on upwards of not even that high dose. So I'm really pleased that early on we're seeing great response and great signals with across all our studies, and I truly believe that one or if not all of our therapies will provide a lengthy, hopefully a curative effect to many patients.
Okay, so early detection and commonly equals, I guess, a longer life. So is that the focus for you? Is it prolonging life, or is it actually saving lives? And as you said, finding a cure. What's ultimately the end goal?
So it's been previously a lot of the cancer drugs prolong life, but I would hope me and my team haven't had lots of drug development experience. Um, we'd love to live to provide a cure for some of our patients, if not for our family and friends, um, everyone. So that is the patients are our North Star, and if those patients are living for a cure, then that's what we're aiming for.
And before we wrap things up, Leslie, what message do you want potential investors watching and listening to this interview right now to take away with them? I guess why would so-called mum and dad investors want to invest in Imugene?
I think we've got some notable products in our pipeline. We have a cash runway that's going to help us develop these products to a pivotal or a role where it's going to either be partnered with big pharma or we're going to have an approval. So I think Imugene is one of those companies that is going to, has a can-do attitude, and we're going to take our products as far as we can.
Definitely a fascinating interview and discussion today, Leslie. Some of it is, beyond my average brain, but I look forward to learning more and talking to you as the year unfolds. And I'm sure that Imugene will be in the news for all the right reasons, hopefully. And good luck to you and your team in finding a cure. Thanks for your time today and joining us on Small Caps.
Thank you.